if I could do this again, I would have started 20 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. That's it. Hi, I'm Phil,
Hi, I'm Hilary.
and this is our off-grid home in Tokoroa. We've been here, what, 3.5 years? We were living in Tokoroa, which is 20 minutes down the road. I leased 4 acres, had a couple of sheep, horses, and it just wasn't big enough. So, and we knew we wanted to buy a place that suited us, eh? So we started looking, and we looked at 2 places. One was too big, too much. The other one was too small. And then he says, oh, there's a place down the end of the road. Do you want to have a look at it? We went, well, yeah, okay. We looked at it and we went, yeah. It wasn't a flat, it wasn't boring. He drove around it, the fences were in a bit of a mess, but it's not a boring block.
We could see the potential right from the beginning.
The reason why we went off grid is we don't want a power bill. We don't want to be relying on other people, other power sources. We don't even notice when the neighbour's power goes off, and they run it all the time. Our nearest power is down across the road. It would cost us more to get that power in than off the grid power. But not only that, I've got a monthly bill. So it made sense.
Definitely for me, the off-grid living is the freedom to create a space that we love, the freedom to be close to our animals, to be close to nature, to have our horses, because we used to have to drive 9 kilometres just to go and see our horses every day.
Yep.
We've now got them right with us in our lives. The freedom to pick and choose what fruit we want to grow, what veggies we want to eat, how simple our lives are going to be. We are very much the dictators of that, and the creators. So my life now, compared to how it was before, is totally changed for the better. I would never go back to living in town. I'm able to do more creative projects in my garden. I have the freedom of expression, what plants I want to grow, what herbs I want to have. I live more simply. I live more authentically. I'm more aware of our wastes. And you're more aware of the impact that you're making on the environment, and much more in touch with nature. And we love that. I'm a learner beekeeper. I got started with a friend giving me a jar of honey. You know when you get that power moment and you go, I really want to do this.
My wife and I have just become grandparents. And my wife goes to me, I want to stay fit and strong so that I can be around for the grandchildren.
Oh, great reason.
Yeah.
Let me show you one of my pet projects, my honey hive. So I've got a lovely friend here in Tokoroa who brought me a jar of honey, and she had a particular system called free flow system. As soon as I tried that honey, I went, oh, you just get this belly feeling that you know you've got to do that. And I had thought about doing bees, but down the line. No, within weeks, she'd found me the system, which I brought down from Whangarei, and ever since then, it's been a monster learning curve.
Oh, let's have a look.
Yeah, let's go for it. Come on.
Now, do they get excited when you open it up?
Oh, they may do. Let's have a quick look, and I'll show you the kind of thing that you can achieve within a season or 2. And then this is called a queen extruder sheet. So that stops the queen going up and laying eggs in your honey factory. Because basically the honey factory is the part that I'm allowed to take. So you can see that's absolutely full of capped honey.
Yeah.
The whole side.
Wow.
It's just absolute, and feel the weight of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 25, 30 kilos, they're fairly heavy. In here, these yellow bits are the food that they're...
Ah, right, so that's the food they go and get, and then they convert that into honey.
Yes, probably more for feeding the babies.
Yeah.
So now I do have a good frame of what's called brood. of eggs. So can you see how they've got capped cells? So the queen has laid the eggs, the workers have fed the babies, and then they've capped the cell and let them cook, fatten up, and then they will break out. You know, every now and again you'll see a baby bee has actually, they start emerging.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's fascinating. Honestly, you can sit, some evenings you can sit there and just watch them. I used to think that every bee was yellow and black stripes. No.
Oh.
No, there's no bee that looks alike another one. So it's really, really interesting.
Yeah.
That's absolutely full of brood.
To be honest, I've never been this close to a beehive. Not something I've ever thought that I'd ever be this close.
I thought you would find that really interesting.
Tell you what, that's quite fun.
Overall, if we're looking at the bigger aspect, we're trying to create better pollination for our grass, our hay paddock, for the neighbours, and also for our potential orchard, which is still very much growing. Our trees are only 2 years old.
So I started this journey with the worm farms we've been here for 4 years, 3 years prior to that. Hilary had one bin of worms. I pulled Hilary's worms apart. They were ordinary paddock worms. I got them going, and then I went, I need to learn a little bit more. So what we're trying to do is get the worms back into the soil with the castings, and you don't have to put the worms back in the soil. The worms come naturally. I don't know how. We haven't put all these worms in the soil, but you can dig down there and dig and find 8 to 10 worms because of just putting on the castings. The worms have come back and the grass has come back. It's just mind-boggling how much they can actually eat. With the big longworm farm, I just put trailer loads of horse shit in there. I put a trailer load in last week, a trailer load a week before. I've got another trailer load this week. So I started this one here 18 months ago. We had a small one here to start with as a trial. There's a few things we did wrong with it. We cooked them to start with by putting black plastic over them. You've got to keep them warm, so at 18 degrees keeps them breeding. So anything over 18 degrees, you're getting more and more worms. So we put black plastic over them. It was not a good thing. So that was the last model I've made. The first ones were these. So when I first started making worm farms, 200 litre drum, a couple of battens for legs, and this is the better model. So I've got it one drip here, and that drips into the drum. That's worm tea.
Oh, that's the worm tea you were talking about.
Tea. So that there is probably pure worm tea because of the way I'm doing it. So I'm using the horse poos to feed the worms, which is a manure. And then the worms are breaking it down to dirt, which again is a manure. So both things are manure. And it's not like dirt, it's
got an amazing feel to it, eh? Yeah.
So it's almost like pure worm tea. But people don't see it that way, so we're making pure worm tea over there out of the dirt, and we're bubbling it up. We're putting molasses with it, which is a sugar. That gets the organisms going in the dirt and gets the organisms growing, and then we spray it on the farm. But when you spray it on the farm, you put it on just before dark, and when it's a little bit cooler, not now because it just dries up. You want it sitting on the leaf for a while.
Ah, right.
If you're going to do it when it rains or anything, then you make it a bit thicker. 10% is enough. You can spray it on your garden straight away and then go and get your veggies and eat it. It will not hurt, simply because this is worms. This is what worms do, and worms are harmless. So it's a good thing.
There's like a heap in a row here, then there's a heap over there. How many of these barrels have you got?
I started off with 70 of them. So go and pick up the horse poos, put it on a trailer, fill up the bin, come and fill this one here up, put a bucket, maybe 2 buckets in there, 2 buckets in there, 70 times, kind of just goes like
70 times.
You kind of get sick of it.
Do you think it's got out of hand?
Yes, it did. So I looked online and I saw someone had a big long farm. So I went, well, I can do that. I've got a hillside, I've got 10 acres. I'll show you this one over here. So this here is what we've put down a couple of weeks ago.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't
look at
dirty
this.
your hands. It's
Yeah, look at
Yeah.
that. Hey,
Yeah.
Gosh, it's incredible. How do you get it from here onto the paddock? You just spread it?
okay, so you fill your trailer up,
Yep.
grab a handful,
Oh, you do it by
and
hand?
you do this in the afternoon, just on dark when it's raining, because you've got worms and you've got their babies, eggs and that in here, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's what I did. Went and got another handful and carried on until I'd run out. And every one of these bins has got to be done.
Yeah.
So, to give you an idea, if we have, say, 2 inches of rain, I'll get 2, maybe 3,000 litres of worm juice.
And do you sell it?
No, the whole lot goes on the farm. The whole idea is get this place up and going, to show what it can do, and to show it can do better than a dairy farm.
Yep.
By doing the right stuff. So we're just trying to speed it up. I don't like living in town. I hated it. I've always been a country pumpkin. Coming out here, it's quiet. You got all the bird life, you got your animals. To anybody who wants to go off grid, just do it. I know you look at the bank account and how we're going to pay for this, and try and sort that afterwards. There's some things we had to learn along the way, and it was tough, and the budget was tough.
But in actual fact, Phil, he's got that sense of self-discipline. He'll pay his bills at the beginning of the month, and then any money left over, right, I can now get X, Y, Z thing for the shed or the building. All right, now we've got to get the solar, now we've got to get this. Yes, it has been tough, but I think it's helped that we live fairly simply, within our budgets.
Yeah.
Well, you can't go over your budgets, you just can't.
No. Our monthly expenses have changed, and I had a very serious look at my pay and where my money was going. So I had $300 odd going out for medical insurance. I looked at myself and I said, am I healthy and fit? And I went, yes. So right, get rid of it. There's $300 a month in my pocket. I'm over 65, so now I'm allowed to stop my super from going in. Yep. The thought is that I'm getting very little interest for that money. So if we put that money into the house, rent the house out for 2 years once it's finished, that money will come back in faster than what I'm putting in my super. So we've done a bit of a jiggle round, a bit of think about things, how fit, how healthy you are, what sort of money you're going to spend.
There's been a big difference in our monthly expenses. I'm seeing that where we were getting a monthly power bill, we're not getting that anymore. Where we were paying for all our food, we don't have to. We're growing, not all our food, but a large portion of our food. We've got all our pumpkins, all our potatoes come from our own garden, all our lettuces come from our own garden. So just basic stuff. Yep. But we've got our own muttons, and Phil does hunting when he gets a chance, which isn't very often. So we have actually got our own home-killed sausages and mince, so that's a saving.
We've got a few projects coming up. First and the biggest and the most expensive one is the house. I can't wait to get in there, but we're not going to get in there for a couple of years. The house will get finished, but we're going to have to rent it to start paying it back. My mum was kicking our butts about putting a house on, and I think she'd seen far too many programs on TV about translocating houses, and she was just absolutely in love with the idea, and she kept pushing me. And Phil didn't even see the house until the day it arrived. I didn't know too much about it before then either.
He just totally trusted us, but we knew with having 2 bathrooms, 4 bedrooms, and the potential of putting on some decks, that it was pretty much a no-brainer, and it was within our budget, and that was obviously one of our constraints.
And of course, when you move a house on, you can orientate it exactly the way you want.
Yes, oh yes. I said the whole house had to be orientated so that the kitchen window faced down the valley. When the planners came, they literally worked out exactly where that kitchen window was going to go, according to the plans, and they made me stand there and they said, "Are you happy?" I said, "Yes, I am." But in actual fact, it's worked out really, really well because it is kind of a north-facing house.
Yeah.
And we do get lots of breezes. It's going to be a cool house, and we're insulating all the exterior walls at the moment, which is a bit of a pain.
Yes,
We're redoing the ceilings. I'm upskilling my puttying and window skills. Phil's been doing a little bit of building, so it's coming along and growing.
It's a big project.
Yeah.
It is a big project.
Keep
But
you busy.
we're up for it. You know, we're fit. We've got skills.
Yeah, we are.
So now that we've got a whole brand new solar system, thanks to GridFree, we are going to see a revolution of our lives, quite frankly. Instead of being so economical and sparing with our power usage, we will have far more versatility and far more freedom of what we can actually power up. Although we've only activated a fraction of the house, already we can see the enormous potential of the solar power. This whole solar experience has made us strong advocates for solar. We don't actually see any other way of living, quite frankly.
So we're powering up with the Tui Solar Nest. We love it.
So it's going to run this whole household.
It'll run the whole house. We asked for it to be boosted up, so we've got the extra battery. We didn't want a generator. We want to stay right off the grid.
Yeah.
We've put the wash house on power so we can get going. We're pretty happy. We think we've got the right gear with the right job, with the right house. And
Yeah, it's the perfect kit for this house.
Yep, we believe so.
And what else are you doing for other utilities for the house? So water and waste?
Our water is off the roof. There's a 25,000 litre tank out there. We're hoping it will take us through the summer. During the winter months, we've actually got another 10,000 below, so it can actually overflow into the 10,000, and that will service the worms. What we're going to look at after it's all signed off is the wastewater for the shower, the washing machine, will go out into that tank as well, and that'll go on the farm. And the sink that'll go into the sewage.
Yeah.
So we're actually trying to use as much water as you can back onto the farm. We're doing it over at our place at the moment, and it's working fine.
So you've been on quite a big journey over the last few years on this whole project. What's been your best moment?
Probably getting the tui in. Now that we've got power here, we've got a deep freeze. You know, like we've got mutton out there and we can't even put it in until we had power. So I would say it would be the Tui Nest that's really done it. If I could do this again, I would have started 20 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. That's it.
This lifestyle, I feel, has made us deeper thinking. I think we appreciate each and every little thing that we've got, and we also understand the effect that we have on, not just on us, but on our land and on our planet. You know, we can see a much more global picture as well. For me, an unexpected benefit has actually been finding your voice and finding your heart, because our heart and our soul is very much in our land.
Yeah.
You know, if we feel strongly about something, we do it. We find our freedom of expression and our independence. You know what, Phil? We're pretty independent compared to some people. We don't necessarily feel that we have to follow protocol.
No.
I think in a way we've been able to question things. You know, there's been lots of things that have happened over the last 4 years, without mentioning anything, that we've questioned and gone, hold on, this isn't quite making sense. There's another way of looking at this, which we've had that sense of independence to feel that freedom of making another choice.
Yeah.
And that living on our land authentically has given us that sense of freedom and creativity. There's so much scope. I mean, we've only just scratched the potential here, really. We're only just on the start. We're only on step one. There's so much other potential.